Hello everyone and welcome to episode 5 of Sycamore Farm. In today's episode I built the habitat for the llama and the alpaca, which are both descendants or part of the family of the camels. And yeah, camels are more from Africa and then alpacas and llamas are more from South America. But yeah, these animals are commonly found in petting zoos. Not necessarily llamas as much, but definitely alpacas. I've been to London Zoo before, and they've had llamas and alpacas. I don't think, I don't know if they've got llamas. I know they've definitely got alpacas. I don't know if they might be mixed together. I think they are mixed together. But yeah. But apparently in this game you can walk through with the llamas and alpacas, so the guests have a little trail throughout. But yeah, I am continuing with the rock wall theme for these guys. They aren't like known to escape that much. They usually stick in herds, so it's fine. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers. At the time I'm recording this, I have not. So it would be greatly appreciated if you could just give me them couple more and we'll push to the next mark, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to try and talk through this video as much as possible, as I've had multiple people say to try and see how long I can do it for, and my voice has healed up a little bit from all the high pollen recently, so I might be able to give it a good old go. And yeah, in today's sort of episode, in this part of the video in fact, I start doing the sort of hut. I found this on the workshop and I thought that would fit perfectly for this area, so I thought rather than me again having to waste time to make one, I thought I will just use one as I have done the previous times. But yeah, if you are new to this channel, I'm not much of like a sort of maker, so I don't really like building buildings. That doesn't appeal to me. It appeals to some of the people in the Planet Zoo community, particularly people who played Planet Coaster, which I wasn't a big fan of when I played it, but Planet Zoo has really sparked my inspiration to start playing this game again, and I just love everything about this paddock I've done. I'm also starting to make this sort of area where you can sit down and eat. I'm thinking it could be maybe like a cafe. It's quite common in petting zoos or areas where there's a petting zoo to have like an outdoor barnyard, sit down, have a packed lunch, that sort of thing. So I'll have a couple of stalls. I've done one shop. I've placed down at the. I'll do it in the middle of this video, and I've also got a toilet which I did last video. But yeah. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this last video, but I have put in the Herman's tortoise. A lot of zoos have tortoises, but there's not really a sort of like tortoise a small one that can be outside. So bit of a shame, but I have put it in a little barnyard hut. I have found that on the workshop, but what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put it as a blueprint for myself. If you want, I might put it on the workshop. The only thing I have on the workshop is the episode 20 Wildwood Zoo little upload, where I hope you can see it. It's basically just Wildwood Zoo from episode 20, which is basically just the savannah and desert area. But anyway, on with the petting zoo. I am now starting to put the rock wall around. I love this rock wall, and when I've seen enclosures, all the enclosures in South America, normally paddocks for farmers, there is usually a stone wall like this going around the edge. Not necessarily like a UK British flimsy wall, but definitely a nice looking wall nonetheless. So I've tried to it fits in, so I'm glad that does. But for the next couple of habitats, such as the chicken and the pigs, they will be in a different habitat, so don't be fooled. The rock wall is going to be everywhere. I am going to do a different fence pattern, so yeah. Also, the staff area is one of the least favourite parts for me. I don't know why, but I just cannot work with the little gate. I feel like they need to add something new for the staff to go in. Maybe if they just go in the normal gateway or something like that. I also feel like educators should be able to walk around this habitat and sort of talk to the people. Because from the petting zoos I've been to, when you walk around the enclosure, there's usually someone there just to make sure the animals aren't being touched like wrongly or anything like that. And yeah, I hope they do add that, because especially in lemurs, they have one in person in there just making sure everyone's not like poking it and stuff like that. So I feel like they should add that in. But yeah. Here's the shop I've been talking about. So yeah, I quite like that shop. I found it on the workshop and thought, perfect. I do change some of the colours to it. And yeah. I'm also thinking about doing a playground on that sort of area. Because usually there's a little playground off of like a lunch. Because usually when kids, after they eat their lunch, get a little bit hyper and want to go play. So made sure I've done that. But yeah. Also, if you're wondering about where these signs are from, there is someone on the workshop who creates signs for every single animal pack in the game, and I think he's doing base game ones as well. Yeah, and they're super cool, and they match with everything, and you do have to go on like a Google Doc drive and download them to your computer. It's safe, so don't worry about that. But yeah. Also, guys, I'm thinking about doing a sort of tutorial video showing like how to do foliage work for like not necessarily a barnyard but just in general. I don't know if you guys would like that, but I don't know, I feel like that would just be really fun to do for myself, and also just to show you guys how to really pop that enclosure. Particularly my butterfly bug bird area has done really well on this channel, so I'm thinking maybe I should give people some tips of how to make that sort of area. And my tips are always using the workshop to your advantage and the paint tool to sort of pre-lay out your areas. The workshop is a wonderful place. There are many talented builders on there, which, not me, but there are builders up there which do really well, and they do so well at what they do. And I feel like to appreciate them, there are people like me who just download their items, and always make sure you put in the comments and just say, I've used this in my builds, and something like that, because it always makes them feel a little bit happy. I would like that if people came up to me and said, oh, I used that on my build, and this is what it looks like, or something like that. But yeah, after I've done this, I'm actually going to go on the comments of all the workshop items I have downloaded from and just put in a little highlight and say thank you for this and stuff like that. So yeah, make sure you do that. It definitely helps with it all, and yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go through some good old facts like I usually do. So I do have some facts ready for you guys. They're not particularly grouped up or anything. They're a bit random. I've just found facts and wrote them down over the week. So yeah, I have done this video for quite a while. I just haven't had the voice to kind of just voice over it. But yeah, so the camelids is the family, as I said at the start of the video, which kind of introduced camels and llamas and alpacas. The South American sort of branch of that camelid family includes vicuñas, alpacas, llamas, and there is also something called a guacamala. I think that's how to pronounce. If you guys know, you're probably better than me at this. But yeah, those are sort of the range of animals you find in the South American region. And the alpaca is the most domesticated out of all of them. While the llama is kind of domesticated, the alpaca is the most domesticated. The vicuñas and the guacamala is actually sort of like the original alpaca. That's what thought the descendant was, which is quite unique actually, because it's like an ancestor. But yeah, I say they live in South America, but a lot of the camelids actually first appeared on the central plains of North America about 40 million years ago, and it was about 3 million years ago, llamas' ancestors migrated to South America, and during the last ice age, which is about 10,000 years ago, camelids went extinct in North America, and the only living residents are, of course, the ones found in Central Africa, well, around Africa, and domesticated around the Mediterranean. And a lot of them actually found in the United States and and funny enough Canada again, but back in like domestication. So usually as a pet, a farm animal, or anything like that. Llamas and alpacas are very helpful. They are used as a mount in many of the Andes Mountains of Peru. They can carry a lot of weight. In fact, the male can carry, I think it's a, yeah, so they can carry around 25 to 30% of their body weight, and llamas typically weigh around 280 to 450 pounds. Um, so a male would weigh around 400, while a female will be on the lighter one. So the male can carry about 100 and something pounds just on a trek without any problem. So when you live in the middle of a mountain, it's pretty important to have these. But yeah, and also llamas are smart as well, so they're not gonna like not listen to you. They will kind of understand the basics, like a dog or a pig. I say pig because they're actually smart, and yeah, they're just really easy to train. Again, llama wool and alpaca wool both have lots of uses. Specifically, llamas have this thick coat, and alpacas, but mostly llamas in the Andes Mountains of Peru, and they actually use them as textiles. And for about 6,000 years, llama wool has been used for hats, carpets, rugs, fleeces, anything, jumpers, all that. And specifically alpacas, if I can find it. Hold on. Yeah, so I've got them down as llamas, but this also goes for alpacas. The llama fibre is actually pretty soft and lightweight, but warm. And you'll find that the top of the coat, the outer coat, which is a little bit more coarse, is frequently used for rugs and ropes. Oh, ropes, that's interesting. And the undercoat is used for garments and handicrafts, which would just be gloves, scarves, stuff like that. And you need that when it's cold. Llamas are very adapted to the mountains. In fact, they are completely vegetarian, because there's a lot of like grasses and all the shrubs in South America, and they have very effective digestive systems. In fact, so much so, like a cow has 4 compartments in its stomach. A llama has 3 compartments. I've done a little bit of science as well, where the first stomach it goes into is called the rumen. Sorry for my pronunciation. The second one, it goes into the omasum, and then it goes into the obomasum. And what happens is llamas regurgitate their food and re-chew their food to digest it. So what happens is it would go into like the rumen, for example, and then the llama would regurgitate it, eat it, and then it would go into the omasum, and then whatever it does, I'm not an expert, but when I looked it up, it was pretty disgusting. Luckily, llamas have lived for a long time, and they can live for about 30 years old usually, but some can only live for about 15. So it's around 15 to 20 years old. The llamas are very effective. They are popular, and I say popular as in the population's very high. There is around 7 million alpacas and llamas in South America alone, which is a lot. And if you're wondering, llamas and alpacas are very easy to distinguish in between each other. Alpacas have this very curly fur. Llamas have a more straight, sort of like, I can't think of the name, but you know, like tassels or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it. One of my dogs have a fur like a llama, and the other one like an alpaca. That's how I could kind of remind myself of that. Um, but yeah, a group of llamas is called a herd, like anything, any sort of ungulate, and a baby llama is called a cría, which is Spanish for baby. It is pronounced cría. I double checked myself on that one. But yeah, baby alpacas, vicuñas, guanacos, whatever you want to call it, are all called crías, so don't worry about that. And they usually typically have around one, and their pregnancy lasts for about 10 to 11 months, so nearly a full year, a little bit longer than us. But yeah, in fact, back in the ancient days, the native Peru people used to use llama poop as some sort of eco-friendly fertilizer, and in fact dried it, the Incas, sorry, and they even dried it for fuel to burn as fires or stuff like that. They call it llama beans, and it has no smell, so you could probably eat it, or, well, I wouldn't eat it, but you could eat it, and you wouldn't know it was llama poo, basically, because it doesn't smell. But yeah, that is most of the facts I have. But yeah, getting back to a little bit of commentary about the video. I also want to comment on the pack, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but there are so many more colour variations in this annual pack. I must give credit to Frontier for giving them so many variations. I have never known them to do that much. The alpaca, I had one and it said brown, and then there was another one that was brown. I don't know if I've got one brown one there, but I found another one that's brown later on. And I'm not joking you, when I put the brown one in there, it was like black. And I was like, hold on, that was meant to be brown. So they've made a really dark llama, which is really cool. And I thought, I also want like a light brown one. So I had to go look for a light brown one, which is just mental. And the piebald ones, or whatever you call them, like the brown spots ones, are even cooler. As you can see here, I've started placing the sort of tables from the barnyard animal pack. I thought, do I use the conservation benches, because they probably fit a little bit more, but I thought, it's a barnyard animal pack, I must use that. So yeah, as you can see, I've used some of them. I am thinking about theming this area a little bit more by adding a couple of like milk canisters and stuff like that to fill some of the gaps. I feel like most of the foliage work in here kind of covers up for that, and in a lot of the other areas on the outside I've done a couple more theming. So I think on the next video I'm gonna work on that and do some more theming, and I think I'm gonna go and add maybe the pigs. I've seen lots of chicken videos, and I must say I'm a bit fed up of watching the chickens, so I'm afraid you're gonna have to wait a little bit more for the chickens. I really want to do the pigs, as I haven't seen a video for them guys, and I don't know why, but pigs are just some of the best animals, and I can't believe they added the worst pig breed they could have. There are these, in London Zoo, they've got these woolly pigs. I don't know what they're called, but they are so cool. I wish they added those instead. And there's so many other pigs, like the pot-bellied pig. I don't know, they just added a little bit too... Like, they could have added a pink pig, but anyway, I'm not complaining. But yeah, this is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye!